cold, impossible to ignore. The kind of quiet that made people straighten their backs, trade uneasy looks, and lean in close to whisper behind their hands. She was the new girl, and mystery clung to her like smoke, spreading faster than anyone could stop it. Her name was Raina. Long dark hair fell down her back like a shadow, and her eyes carried a weight, as if they'd seen things no one her age should. There was something about her presence, something that pulled you in while warning you to stay away. She dressed simply, nothing flashy, but the way she stood was stiff, controlled, almost trained, like she was always bracing for impact. It didn't take long for the school wolves to notice. Chase, the self-proclaimed alpha of their sad little pack, hated unanswered questions. He thrived on power, and Raina didn't bend to it. "She thinks she's better than us," he muttered loudly at lunch, making sure she heard. Probably got kicked out of her last school. His friends snickered. Raina didn't react. She didn't even lift her head from her tray. That silence burned him worse than words ever could. After that, it began quietly. A book knocked off her desk. Her name hissed cruelly through the halls. And that was only the beginning. Soda accidentally soaked her homework one afternoon, dripping across the page like a cruel joke. But Raina didn't flinch. She didn't curse, didn't sigh, didn't even blink. She simply wiped it up, gathered her papers, and kept working, calm, steady, unbreakable, like she was made of steel. And that's what drove Chase insane. Bullies live for reactions. Fear feeds them, and Raina gave him nothing. Nothing at all, until the day he crossed the line. It was a rainy Wednesday, the kind where the sky feels heavy, and everything moves slower than it should. Raina was walking toward the back of the school building, her usual quiet spot where she ate alone. That's when Chase and two of his friends blocked her path near the lockers. "Hey, ninja girl," Chase smirked, stepping too close. "Why so quiet all the time? Cat got your tongue." Raina didn't move. Her face stayed calm, unreadable, almost bored. That's when Chase reached out. He grabbed a fistful of her hair and yanked hard, and in that instant, everything changed. Raina didn't scream. She didn't cry. She reacted. In one smooth, controlled motion, she spun around, locked onto his wrist, and twisted. There was a sharp, sickening snap. Chase's scream ripped through the hallway as he collapsed, clutching his arm in pure agony. His friend stumbled back, pale and shaking. Raina stood over him, calm as ever. "You should never touch someone without permission," she said quietly, then she walked away. It felt unreal, like a scene straight out of a movie. And within minutes, the story was everywhere. By the end of the day, the story had torn through the school like a storm. Raina, the quiet new girl, had snapped Chase Miller's arm like it was nothing. Some students whispered that she was a black belt. Others claimed she'd been in juvie for fighting. The rumors grew louder and wilder with every retelling, but Raina never corrected anyone. She never explained. She just kept walking, head forward, silence intact. But the truth, the real truth, was far more powerful than any rumor. Raina had survived things most people never would. She'd moved to this town after her father died in a sudden car accident. Her mother, crushed under the weight of grief, had slowly disappeared into herself, speaking less and less each day. Raina learned how to be strong because she had no choice. She trained in martial arts not to hurt others, but to survive life, to keep moving when everything inside her wanted to collapse. Her silence wasn't armor. It was glue holding her together. Breaking Chase's arm wasn't revenge. It was a boundary, a line drawn by someone who had finally learned how to stand. But the story didn't end there. Chase was suspended immediately. The school launched a full investigation. Raina was called into the principal's office. Her heart steady, but her mind braced for the worst. Detention, expulsion, blame instead. When she walked in, what she found waiting for her was something she never expected at all. Her teacher, Miss Alvarez, was the one who spoke first. She stood up straight and looked directly at the principal. "I've seen the security footage," she said calmly. "She didn't attack him. And I'm proud of her." Raina blinked, caught off guard, her chest tightening. She didn't know how to react to words like that. She wasn't used to adults taking her side. Kindness felt unfamiliar, almost fragile. Then the school counselor stepped in, gently offering her a spot in a peer support group. Students who had been bullied, silenced, pushed aside, just like her. When Raina walked into that room, she saw faces carrying the same quiet pain she carried every day. And for the first time in months, she realized she wasn't alone. Word spread, but this time it was different. Students started looking at her with respect instead of fear. Some came up to her nervously, asking if she could teach them self-defense after school. Raina hesitated, then nodded quietly. One class turned into two. Two turned into many. Soon, she wasn't standing alone anymore. She was surrounded by students who wanted to be stronger, not just in their bodies, but in their hearts. Raina became something she never expected to be, a symbol of resilience. That moment in the hallway was never about violence. It was about self-defense, about breaking a cycle, about knowing your worth and standing your ground when the world keeps telling you to stay small and silent. She was a leader, a survivor, a friend, and Chase. He returned with a cast on his arm and his eyes lowered. He avoided Raina and everyone else. Something inside him had changed too. Sometimes, the strongest lesson isn't learned through words, but through consequences.